Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hi, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
In this show we're discussing Deep Space Nine, Season 1, Episode 17, The Forsaken. In this episode, Bashir has to entertain some Federation ambassadors, one of which, Loaxana Troy, takes a shine to Odo. Meanwhile, O'Brien has to deal with an inconvenient computer program from the Gamma Quadrant.
So, what did you think?
Oh, I was going to ask you. Yeah, this episode was remarkably lacking in peril.
You weren't into it when there were fireballs bursting and stuff happening?
Well, that bit was... Yeah, you said stuff happening because you couldn't think of any other peril. Being trapped in a lift or a dark room isn't exactly edge-of-the-seat stuff.
No, but that was a pretty good fireball.
It looked like the same one that Kira saw when she had the hallucination, or what you want to call it, when the aliens were visiting in the last episode.
Yeah, did they just reuse it?
They reuse stuff all the time on Star Trek. They reuse space backdrops and flip them, add color filters and all sorts of stuff. So I would expect it probably is exactly the same fireball.
Which is fine. It's just weird that it hasn't been that long since the initial fireball, and so to reuse it, it really stuck out.
Yeah, in the next episode. Oh well. Okay,
It's a pretty neat fireball, though.
It is, it's good. I should say I did kind of enjoy this episode. The stuff with Odo was nice. It added a bit of emotion, I guess, to his character, because he's been very flat. Which is fine, he is a flat character, he's not got much there, he's just very private, doesn't really care about much apart from his work. But he actually showed a few different, very reserved emotions here. It was an interesting view into the sort of person or creature he is.
Yeah, I like that they're adding layers to him, and he's not just the guy who goes, huh, and walks away when he sees something that he thinks is ridiculous.
Although he did also do that in this episode.
Yeah, he's quickly devolving into the caricature of himself, sort of like Flanders, who has these idiosyncrasies in the beginning, and then that's all he becomes towards later in the run of The Simpsons. I just hope that doesn't happen with Odo, although I kind of see it already.
Well, I think this episode did quite a lot to remedy that.
Yeah, which was great to see that Odo isn't dimensionless. And that
Yes.
There's more to him than just grunting.
His dismissive grunts.
Which were charming in the beginning, but I want more than dismissive grunts from Odo. There's a lot to mine from him, and they show that in this episode.
So, you've never seen Star Trek. What did you think of Loaxana? Loaxana?
I thought she was fine. I thought I had a weird theory or hypothesis halfway through the episode when I thought she and the computer were linked, that she was a manifestation of the computer and seeking attention. Because right when they talk about how needy the computer is, I think that was right after a scene with her and Odo, or a scene with her and Odo is right after that.
Well, it's very likely. That's the two plots, so.
But it was linked in my mind, and then I kept waiting for some really dumb conclusion where somehow the computer became this woman. I'm so glad they didn't go that route.
You've actually hit the nail right on the head so accurately that I'm a bit surprised. The actress who plays the Waxana is Majel Barrett. She's Gene Roddenberry's wife.
Oh, okay.
So she actually is in almost every episode of the show as the voice of the computer. So I don't know if you subconsciously picked up on that.
Well, maybe after O'Brien said, "Hey, listen to the computer," I really paid attention to the computer's voice, and then I thought, is that the same voice as hers? So
Yes.
is she the computer? So
That's
I guess I
actually
did pick up on that without realizing it.
It's kind of a bad thing to put in when you have a guest star, which is the voice
Yeah.
that you're using all the time. It's not good to highlight that voice, but they did that anyway. They probably didn't think of that, I guess.
Or maybe that was supposed to be a wink and a nod. Maybe that's supposed to throw you off. Maybe they want you to think those two are connected. I don't know. I did, and I didn't know that little bit of trivia at all.
Yeah, I never thought of that because she shows up in Next Gen and original series, and just, one or two episodes here or there. In Next Gen, she's the same character. So I was used to the character at this point, so I didn't think anything of it. And I think I already knew she was the computer. So it's interesting that you came out that fresh, and it kind of was it seems like a bit of a curveball.
Yeah, it did seem odd.
Bring in more analogies about baseball.
We should go to great pains to make as many baseball analogies as possible.
Oh, we don't need to. Cisco has it covered. When Waxana's brooch is taken at the start, he just racially profiles a guy, and then he actually gets the right guy, grabs his arm and says, "Empty your pockets," and the guy just gives up and just dumps out a whole bunch of stuff, including other stuff that he's stolen. Wouldn't you just dump the brooch and be like, "Oh, I found this on the floor, I was going to hand it in," or something? Why would you just confess everything immediately?
Maybe that's part of his species to
Well, he
experience intense guilt.
Career criminal then. Oh my god, you got me. Have everything.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a bit pantomime.
Yeah, and he does it all silently.
I wonder if he couldn't talk because of the makeup.
He was so consumed by guilt, he couldn't bring himself to talk.
Let's discuss Bashir, because he's always a point of contention.
Well, not so much now. They've rectified things with his character.
Yeah, I think they really have.
And it was great that they started off with a joke. I have just the officer to take off my hands, for them to take off my hands, however he worded it, and then cut to a shot of Bashir.
Cisco spent most of his episodes just basically being a jerk and not helping anyone.
Yeah, and recounting how he assaulted someone.
Well,
on duty.
Yeah, which in one of the early episodes, he's about to tell a story about what him and Dex did, Curzon Dex, and then he refrains, but he'll happily admit to assaulting someone in uniform. So whatever he did the other time must have been at least worse than that.
Yeah, definitely worse than assaulting someone.
An ambassador.
Unprovoked.
Yeah, I thought Bashir was okay. He saved the guys with a wall hole.
Yeah, good thinking.
They all thought was tremendous fun. They weren't at all annoyed about almost burning to death in a cramped, tiny hole.
Yeah, even the woman was impressed, and she was whining the entire time.
I noticed the blue guy was the same race as the guy that pulled Cisco away from his wife in the premiere.
Oh, right, yeah.
The vertical line. Hey, if you're wondering, that race is called Bolians, I think.
You're not even sure?
I'm sure. Yeah, that's half-hours trivia.
Let's go with it.
I think it was
sure that's what
Booleans,
they are.
but I looked it up a couple of days ago and I can't quite remember.
It's extra funny that Bashir was assigned to be the liaison when that is actually in Kira's title, liaison, so she's skilled and experienced in that field, but let's just make Bashir do it because we don't like him.
That's true. Also, Dex would have been another good choice because Cisco lamented how Curzon Dex had made him do it, and now he is Dex's superior.
Oh yeah, revenge.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, well, I mean, the ambassadors were basically the trio were comedy throwaway characters, so it fit Bashir. But if they were acting like actual ambassadors, you probably wouldn't want to leave them with Bashir.
Yeah.
But apparently the Federation's entire diplomatic branch is just a big joke to everyone. Oh well.
Ambassadors aren't that important. So this is the most panicked we've seen Odo since he was left alone in Ops.
Yeah, he actually seemed quite distressed in this one. He seems to really get pained when he's revealing anything under his hardened exterior.
Yeah, he identifies as a private person, so to reveal anything is really vulnerable, especially to an aggressively forward woman.
What did you think of the dialogue between Laxana and Odo? How would you rate it on a scale from awkward to mirthful?
More toward awkward.
Oh, okay. Did you get any chuckles?
I really liked when she was prattling on and Odo was escaping into his own mind. There's this great shot where he's looking just off of the camera and he looks dazed and she won't stop talking.
She's actually describing the plot of a Next Generation episode.
Oh, okay. That's a nice little bit for viewers who have seen Next Gen.
So, apart from the Odo side of things, there was a lot of O'Brien time in this episode. What did you think of their careful strategy of not moving the probe into the docking bay in case it's dangerous, but then downloading and executing everything that was stored in its
totally
computer?
Sound.
Yeah, it seems good to me.
What could go wrong? Except the thing that did.
There's a bit that kind of bugged me, but they do that sort of 2001 scene where they're removing more of those plastic rods whilst asking it the computer for a bunch of frivolous requests.
Oh yeah,
and it's sort of getting it's going Daisy and all that,
right?
But that didn't work. What happened with that scene? Maybe I was not paying attention, but it seemed like they just didn't solve anything by doing that and just sort of moved on.
Yeah, did it get mad? I don't remember.
I assume so. I don't know. I must not have been paying attention, but I was alert and watching as carefully as I could, but I couldn't tell where that scene went. I'd probably watch it again and then feel like a complete fool for bringing it up, but it seemed odd that was so serious that they had everyone there, and then a couple scenes later, the lights turn off and O'Brien's like, darn, it's happening again.
In case you've also forgotten what happened, they remove most of the rods, then O'Brien's keyboard goes on fire, and they give up on the plan because you can't commit to a plan with a burning keyboard.
I wasn't invested in that storyline. I thought it was silly.
Yeah, it kind of was. It was there was a previous episode where they were trying to hunt something that was messing with the station systems, and it was frustrating because they did such a slow job of it. In this one, it seems like they zoomed to conclusions almost too fast.
I did enjoy the sense of peril toward the end of the episode. with, again, the fireball, but other than that, it just kind of clunked along.
It was very light-hearted in many ways. They have to break through that door to get to the fire. And Cisco is doing all the stuff with tools. He's shooting it with phasers, which I guess is fine. And then they get a laser cutting tool, and he's just standing there cutting away. It seems odd that they get the commanding officer to do that. Like they have
He was bored.
a full complement of engineers on the station. Wouldn't one of them be better qualified to do that? He doesn't.
They were preoccupied.
You're right, though. He looks really bored when he's doing it. Damn, I want to spend a whole episode just being a jerk, but I guess I'll shoot this wall instead.
We have the confirmation of the new canonical regenerative cycle of Odo, 16 hours.
You're right. That means there was an error in A Man Alone.
Or the first instance of 16 was an error and they decided to go along with it.
Oh, we have a Schrodinger's error then. We have two potential errors and we don't know which one it is.
Schrodinger's cat, right?
Yeah, we don't know which error was the real error until
So is there an error at all?
People who wrote the episode, and then we'll find out which way around it was.
Somehow, I don't think we'll do that. Well, how about this? Maybe the stress of being head of security. He decreased his hours, right? It went from 17 to 16?
It was 18 in A Man Alone,
Okay.
and then 16 later on.
Yeah, so maybe the stress of being head security officer, caused him to shorten the cycle.
I think this episode was largely about Odo's bodily functions, so I think they would have brought that up.
Well, when he's distressed and he still has an hour, he looks pretty bad already. You wouldn't think he would look that bad when he still has 1 hour left.
It seems a bit... All I could think of when I was watching this is it's like he's going to the toilet. He's in the elevator and he's saying to Laxana, I really need to pee, but there's electrical conduits under the floor, so... And if you think of it like that, it's actually kind of weird, awkward.
Yeah, no one wants to have someone watch.
Well, no, I guess he didn't want to melt into the conduits and get electrocuted. Although they tested on Mythbusters if you can wee onto it was the electrified rail for the train system.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't get electrocuted, or they couldn't manage to get it to work.
Oh, I always assumed that was true.
No, it's because urine doesn't have the laminar flow. Anyway, they didn't test shapeshifters, so...
Yeah, we don't know about the flow of shape-shifting liquid.
Well, it's sort of like a gel. It all sticks together, so it would be bad if he went into a liquid there, I guess. It would flow out into the conduits and explode. Or maybe he can zoom around. I don't know.
I was glad that they addressed that, why he can't just turn into liquid and escape, because that was the first thing I thought once the lift broke down.
Oh, it was convoluted, though.
Yeah, but at least they said something.
Yeah, but it seems wedged in there just to seal off a plot hole, which is good, I guess. If they hadn't done that, we would be discussing that for this entire episode.
Yeah, we would be saying, wouldn't you immediately turn into liquid and get out of there?
Strange that he didn't do it other times that Laxana turned up.
That would be a bit awkward. As soon as you see someone just turn into a puddle.
No, just go around the corner and turn into a chair or something.
She's pretty quick, though. She didn't give him a chance to get back. I forgot where he was, but he pressed the button too late.
Do you have a quote of the show?
When it comes to picnics, the only thing that really matters is the company.
Well, is it if you had a picnic basket that was just full of, I don't know, something terrible? And you went for a picnic in a volcano. It could be bad even with good company.
Better than being alone. You have someone to escape the volcano.
You can't escape. That's where you're going for the picnic.
Why would you have a picnic in a volcano?
Because only company matters, and you just threw a dart at a map and said, that's where we're having our picnic. Okay.
That's not a good way to have a picnic.
But it's only the company that matters.
Yeah, you're right. So if you want to throw a dart at a volcano, I guess it would still be a good picnic.
Okay, even if you're burning to death in lava.
You gotta die someday. That's a great way to go.
Is it?
Everyone would talk about it.
Yes, he died on that picnic. Which one? Oh, you know, the one in the volcano.
Exactly. Who wouldn't want to hear that story? You would live on forever as the volcano picnic guy.
I guess.
There are worse claims to fame.
That is very true. I liked Odo's line about he doesn't understand courting. He had a little phrase about sacrificing flowers or sacrificing plants.
Yeah, that was in the running for my quote of the show.
Yeah, it was witty, but it didn't really have a moral to it, other than Odo is a grumpy guy.
Yeah, and I think I've quoted Odo before on one of his grumpy, I don't understand humans lines.
Many times.
Those are the majority of his one-liners.
Yeah, he just comes in, says, I don't understand why people like fizzy drinks. Then he goes, and leaves.
Yeah, and he does this little quick turn.
I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.